Hello, welcome back to Board Game Bananas. Here are the bananas, and today the board game is The Grizzled, a cooperative board game set in the trenches of World War I. There's a lot to unpack today, so let's get straight into setting up. Start by handing each player 3 support tiles. The support tiles are the tiles with the coffee cup on the back. Each player should get one that's pointing to the right, one that's pointing to the left, and then one randomly from the tiles that remain. If you're playing a 2 or a 3 player game, these ones that have 2 left or 2 right get taken out of the game. Next, place 25 of these cards on top of the Peace Dove token, and the remaining cards go on top of here. If you're playing on veteran level difficulty, then place 30 cards on here, otherwise use 25. Each player then chooses a Grizzled card, and you want to start the game with the 4-leaf clover up. That is your good luck charm. Then put the speech tokens by the side of the board. For a 2 or 3 player game, you want all 5 tokens. For a 4 player game, you just want 4. And for a 5 player game, you'll only have 3 tokens. Finally, hand the mission leader token to the hairiest player, and then you're ready to begin. The objective of the game is simple. Your mission is to play all of the cards in the peace pile so that eventually the dove is visible and no player has any cards in their hands. When that has happened, the players have won the game. However, as soon as this card is visible and this pile here is empty, then you have lost. Also, these cards have what are called hard knocks, which are these lightning tokens. If any player at the end of one round has 4 hard knocks, then you have also lost the game. The first thing that happens in any round is that the mission leader decides the intensity of the mission. What that means is they decide how many cards we're taking from the peace pile and handing to the players. For the first round, it has to be a minimum of 3, and for future rounds, it has to be a minimum of 1. Then players take it in turn to play 1 card at a time. As you can see on the cards, there are 6 types of threat. There are nightfall, snow, rain, whistle, gas, and ammunition. If there are ever 3 of the same active threat on the board at the same time, then the players have lost their mission. Whereas if every player manages to withdraw before there are 3 active threats, then the mission is a success. I'll go through in a little bit how players withdraw, but do note that you don't have to have played all your cards before you withdraw. I mentioned earlier the hard knock cards. These are not placed into no man's land, these are simply placed in front of the player placing them. Each of them will have some text describing what they do. However, some of these hard knock cards are what's known as phobias. This means that there is always a whistle threat ongoing, even if there are no cards with whistles in no man's land. So if a player has this card in front of them, then we only need 2 whistles into no man's land for the mission to be deemed a failure. On your turn, playing a card is not the only thing that you can do. One of the things you can do is use your character's good luck charm, which each character has in the top corner. Basically, the way they would do that, so in this case I've got a nighttime good luck charm. What I can do is I can then reach into no man's land, take a card that has nighttime on it, and discard it from the game. I then take this character card, flip it upside down to indicate that my good luck charm has been used. If I have a speech token in my hand, I could also choose to make a speech. What I do then is that I mention one of the 6 threats, and any player that has a card with one of those threats in their hand can remove it from the game. And lastly, on my turn, I could choose to withdraw. I don't have to have emptied my hand at this point, but it's a good idea to have as few cards remaining as possible. However, if the only cards I have in my hand would mean that we would fail the mission, then yeah, withdrawing is a good idea. What I would do then is I would secretly place one of my 3 support tokens upside down on top of my character card. What happens then So in this case, I'm supporting the person to my left. When everybody has withdrawn, we then look at the support tokens, and if a player has more support tokens pointed at them than anybody else, they can do one of two things. They can either remove 2 of the hard knocks, so they don't have to be hindered by those anymore, or they can get their character card, turn it back up the right way, so they can use their good luck charm again in the future. It's important to note that if there are 2 or more players with the same amount of support tokens pointed at them, then the support goes unused. It has to be one single player with the most support tokens pointed at them for either of these things to come into effect. You'll notice that some of the cards have a little red rectangle down at the bottom. These are what's known as trap cards. And what you have to do then, once you've played a card with a red rectangle, you have to immediately take a card from the Dove trial pile, as it's called, the pile for peace, and you must play it immediately. So basically, playing a card with a red rectangle on it means that after that you play another card completely blind. For rookie players playing their very first game, you don't need to play with this rule, but it is recommended once you get comfortable in how to play. Then the round ends either when every player has withdrawn, in which case the mission has been a success, or when there are 3 active threats on the table, which means that the mission has been a failure. What happens next is you move on to the support phase, where everybody who has managed to withdraw reveals their withdraw token, and again, the player with the most support can then either remove some phobias or reactivate their charm. At that point, the cards in No Man's Land are discarded, they're not active threats anymore, and then we count how many cards people have in their hand. Let's say that I have 2 cards left in my hand, one of my other players has 1 card, and the other player has none at all. Then there are a total of 3 cards left in our hand. So what we do is we take 3 cards from this pile and put them over into this pile. Remember, we lose the game when this pile is empty, and we win the game when this pile is empty. So we don't want cards going from here to here, basically. And at that point, the mission leader takes a speech token, so long as there's at least 1 remaining, and the mission leader token moves on to the next player clockwise. And that is how you play the Grizzled. One of the things I really like about this game is how well it manages to depict the horrors of war. There are 59 cards in this deck, and only one of them, aptly named Merry Christmas, is positive. You're basically being attacked and attacked and attacked and attacked, and there are more and more threats coming all the time, and you basically have to decide collectively how much more your group can take. I think that shows, because this game is set in the trenches of World War I, and I think that accurately shows how there was absolutely nothing positive going on. There were no extra bonus positive cards that do good things. It's just that you're being attacked and attacked and attacked, and I think this game depicts that very, very well. One of the things that I like a bit less about this game, firstly, I'll be honest, the rulebook isn't particularly good. There's quite a lot of scenarios that are very, very picky and very, what if I play this but then somebody plays that and then something different happens. I don't think the rulebook fully covers absolutely everything that happens during a game, and it certainly doesn't do so in a clear and understandable manner. And then beyond that, the other thing that I don't hugely like is I don't feel that sense of tension, that excitement during the game where, we're very, very close to winning now, we just need to play the right cards in the right order, or, oh dear, we're very close to losing, we need to make sure that we play this properly. So for me, it's a decent game. I do enjoy playing it, but it's not something that I'm super, super excited about. I think if you've got this game, I think you will enjoy it, but for me, it's not one that I'm particularly in a rush to play again, so to speak. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Please leave me a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already. I've just been on holiday and I bought far more new board games than I probably should have done, so there's absolutely loads of games and videos coming up. So I look forward to seeing you there. But yeah, in the meantime, enjoy the Grizzled. I hope you have fun and take care, enjoy, and good luck. Bye.